And I'm joined now by Michael Roberts. He runs Rexfield, a cybersecurity firm specialising in disrupting cybercrime and has been working on these pig butchering scams. Michael, thank you very much for your time today. It's an extraordinary name. It certainly grabs the attention, doesn't it? And a horrific crime. But behind this exploitation, as we've seen, there is this other layer of exploitation. How unusual is this in the world of cybercrime?
Well, it's an interesting paradox because you don't know who to root for. If the slaves who are running the scams don't successfully scam the victims in the West financially, they are punished. But if they fail, we root for the financial victims in the West because they didn't lose money. So we need to look beyond the victims at both ends at the actual sociopaths at the top of the scams.
OK, so tell us more about how you're trying to disrupt these scammers, the people at the top who are exploiting both the scammers that they have under their control, as well as the victims around the world.
Well, our model is based on disrupting at the beginning, at scale, and at the source of the scam. So we are trying to bring about a change in the way social networking platforms, email providers, website hosts do business. They have a firewall to the outside world and to NGOs. So Rexfield is commercial, but PICDO, our non-profit NGO, is trying to get them to disrupt at the beginning. The problem is the scam happens here, or the grooming happens here, the scam happens here, the report to law enforcement happens here, and the police respond here. But the problem is, by the time it gets here, the scammers have already burnt down the infrastructure they used for the communications in the scam and set up new infrastructure. And they just start again. So traditional law enforcement doesn't work. We need to move the reaction to the beginning, not wait till the end.
Yeah, how do you make that happen? How do you change that model of response, if you like, so that law enforcement gets in much faster, much earlier in that timeline you described?
I'm working with several law enforcement agencies and trying to persuade them to go from the criminal investigation bureau model to implementing a criminal disruption bureau model, where we don't solve crimes. We just look for them at the beginning and cut them off. We get WhatsApp to not only cancel the single WhatsApp number that is being used that people, like Cindy, are contacted through, but we map out by finding common IP addresses. And there's even WhatsApp business accounts used by the scammers, which have thousands of numbers attached to it. We can burn it all down in one fell swoop if WhatsApp and the other platforms work with NGOs like PICDO to actually disrupt that source. Instead, they say, not our job, we'll wait until law enforcement asks us to do it.
And sadly, there will always be victims of these scams, Michael, but what more can individuals do to protect themselves and to alert themselves to be cautious if they think something seems too good to be true, or if they have the slightest suspicion that something is not quite what it ought to be?
Disruption through education. So make sure you tell your grandmothers, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, your kids how these things go down. Because just yesterday, I received 3 WhatsApp calls, just like Cindy described in her case. I'm actually working with them now, and I'm counter-grooming them because I want to find out where they are, capture their IP addresses, so we can actually burn down that particular network. So on our website, PICDO.org, people can actually register soon. It's later today, they can register as a citizen disruptor, and there will be newsletters showing people how they can actually participate en masse to actually disrupt these scams.
OK, citizen disruptors, very interesting. Michael, thank you very much for talking to us today about the pig butchering romance scam. That's Michael Roberts from Rexfield.